Am I really doing this? Am I really dedicating hours of my life to all of this? The answer is yes. Now let's do the oddball video. Let us harken back to the early 2000s, before YouTube, before Facebook, before greedy, corrupt, and horribly out-of-touch politicians kept trying to ruin the very fabric of the internet as we know it for the sake of a quick buck. Indeed, we go back to the internet's primitive age, where websites looked like billboards, and animations were usually crudely drawn stick figures on Newgrounds. But one webtoon site was an exception. Why am I trying to be suspenseful here? You can read the title of this video, so you likely know where this is going. I'm talking about HomestarRunner.com, and we're not even talking about any of the main characters. Today, I will be discussing the anime hero birthed by Strongbad's severely limited information imagination. Heya, I'm Electricstar, and helscome to How Strong Is. This episode, Stinkoman. Yes, I am seriously doing this. On January 6th, 2003, Strongbad email number 57, Japanese cartoon, was uploaded to the internet. Here, Strongbad was given a question from James regarding what he would look like as a Japanese cartoon, and what it would be about. Let me remind you this happened in early 2003, long before anime became more popular and well-known in America as it is nowadays, and hoo boy does it show! Strongbad openly admits he's only seen a Japanese cartoon once, and draws from that. So, naturally that means a Dragon Ball Z parody character, of course.
Okay, so first of all, my head would have to be a little bean, with real big eyes. Get rid of my thumbs, make me all shiny. My boots would be a whole lot cooler, like robot boots. And for some reason, I got blue hair. You gotta have blue hair. Then there's my mouth. Real tiny when it's closed, ridiculously huge when it's open.
And thus, Stinkoman was born. After his debut, Stinkoman has made a slew of appearances throughout the HSR body of work, ranging from being the main focus, to small cameos, to even his own game on the website that was never finished! Come on, Matt and Mike, we need some closure here. It's been over a decade now, guys. Being a deliberately shallow parody of classic anime, you can imagine Stinkoman has a knack for fighting. Specifically,
I'm training for fighting, or maybe a challenge.
Yes, a challenge. Stinkoman loves challenges. Luckily for him, most of his challenges involve fighting, so it's a 2-for-1 solid deal for him. Now at this point, you're likely wondering when I'm going to get to the feats and junk. Well, just let me grab my little guide here that Kaiju wrote for me to keep track of the process, because this is my first HSI I wrote myself. Intro, snappy remarks, funny observation. Okay, it seems I'm going to be bouncing all over the checklist here, so without further ado, let's roll. Well, for starters, Stinkoman has fought a slew of varied opponents. He's fought robots, animals, UFOs, sentient raindrops, sentient clouds, giant birds, giant fire snakes, giant robots, giant brains that were once part of giant robots, giant ice machines, sentient tornadoes that were actually mice, mobster mechas, homicidal stick figures with shovels, and so on and so forth. Stinkoman has nothing if not a fair deal of experience under his belt, and with his love of challenges, it's unlikely he'll want to stop facing new foes anytime soon. Or whenever he makes another appearance in animation. Now, fittingly, his best feats come from his indefinitely unfinished game. But naturally, I will be bringing in other stuff to consider outside of it, including something that has appeared both in-game and out. Something perfectly named. Now let's get to the feats already, finally. Aside from his usual fighting giant robots and giant birds the size of buildings, Stinkoman gets a pretty good feat from level 3. At the very start, Stinkoman comes across his latest challenge, a wall too high for him to normal jump over. So, Stinkoman musters up some strength and manages to jump over it. Way over it. How high does he go? Yeah, Yeah, he made the jump alright, he certainly did. Now, Stinkoman's planet is simply known as Planet K, but in the Strongbed email Time Capsule, it implies that Planet K is actually just Earth in the future, or maybe just Earth in a future that is also an alternate universe, because if there's anything Homestar Runner has in spades, it's alternate universes. I mean, the Susquecentennial was all about merging the entire alternate universes into one for one #1 jam. Or resulting in one. You know what I mean. As such, we're just gonna play it safe and assume Planet K is Earth, and as such, the same size for this calculation. Even when factoring in dreaded gameplay mechanics, from the moment Stinkoman grabs the final coin, the process goes on for roughly 18 seconds. It's entirely possible that it takes even less time when not factoring in any gameplay mechanics, but we're lowballing here to get some good minimums. Judging by the width of Planet K, Earth, Stinkoman has jumped 14,210.5 kilometers in the span of 18 seconds lowballed, giving him a minimum jumping speed of Mach 2,320. Massively hypersonic jumping speed. I am okay with this. Ooh, wait. While we're at it, let's calc the kinetic energy behind this feat. See, a big issue with the Homestar Runner universe is that heights are utterly inconsistent and weights are rarely mentioned, so it's time for guesstimations. Yeah, that's totally not gonna blow up in my face or anything like that. Anyway, let's just assume Stinkoman is the average height and weight of a guy. Highly doubt that's the case, but he is taller and slimmer than his main universe counterpart, and those robot boots do look pretty heavy. Regardless, let's assume he is average weight, 80.7 kilograms. An 80.7 kilogram thing, whatever he is, moving at nearly 800,000 meters per second, yields a total of 25,148,835,633,272 joules, which is just barely above 6 kilotons of TNT equivalent. So yeah, town level. And you know what? Screw it. Let's do a calculation if Stinkoman was only 100 pounds, or 45.36 kilograms. Same speed, different weight, and that gives us 14,135,702,407,995.6 joules, which translates to approximately 3.38 kilotons. Small town level. This feat could very well apply to his destructive capability for his super jump, as well as his durability from the sheer force of said super jump. Funny, this isn't the only HSR feat that's been calced in the towns. That was calced at 4.26 kilotons, for those who want to know. In addition to his jumping power, Stinkoman apparently has some kind of teleportation power or gadget. Either that or he's moving super fast, but that's just speculation bordering on wank. Then again, the whole stratosphere jumping feat. Speculation wank! Ignore my rambling. Other speed feats for Stinkoman include dodging many types of lasers, dodging missiles, and dodging giant stone fists. And speaking of that last part, because I'm a master of segues, so after Stinkoman clears the jump, it turns out that big wall blocking his path was actually the antenna of a giant robot named Stalunko. Yes, I'm serious. Check the Stinko manual for proof. Stinkoman destroys yet another giant robot and takes one of his giant stone fists as both a trophy and a power-up. And indeed, even with one hand, Stinkoman is able to swing it around, lift it over his head, hop, attack, and eat food with it, with virtually no hassle. Calc time! Making the assumption that Stinkoman is average height, maybe. Using a little pixel scaling, we can find out the height of the stone fist, being an estimated 2.83 meters in height, 0.79 meters in width, and 0.91 meters in length. Using the volume of a rectangular prism, we can estimate this giant stone fist weighing approximately 4,944 kilograms, or 5.4 tons. And yeah, it's obviously pretty heavy, seeing as how slamming it to the ground makes the entire screen shake and all. Seeing as how casually wielded this is for Stinkoman, we can classify this feat as at least Class 5 lifting and striking strength. Speaking of striking strength, unfortunately the stone fist was not long for this world, as during his battle with Sargston, yes, I'm still serious, that's his name, here's the Stinko manual page to prove it, Stinkoman goes in for the finishing blow, ultimately cracking the giant stone fist in half, which yields a wall level plus attack. Ah, well, nothing wrong with a few bit feats, right? Even then, Stinkoman is not really fazed by the whole thing and is much more upset by the loss of his new weapon. Speaking of bit feats, he also gets zapped by red button lightning a few times throughout the game. If it's as powerful as real-world lightning, he's getting zapped with an average of 5 gigajoules, or 1.195 tons of TNT equivalent. Building level plus. Again, bit feats. let's move away from the calcs for a bit to discuss some other things, like his arsenal and powers. Stinkoman's most obvious ability would be his ki/energy manipulation abilities. Not surprising considering, again, he's a deliberately shallow Dragon Ball Z parody. Stinkoman can fire the energy in the form of small projectiles and large beams, the latter of which being the result of his signature move, the Double Deuce.
Double Deuce!
Which originates from when Strong Bad is flipping somebody off with both hands.
And my personal favorite, the Double Deuce.
With boxing gloves for hands. I'm not joking. Anyway, Stinkoman doesn't always fight with his own power. As shown by the giant stone fist, Stinkoman has no problems fighting with brand new weapons. He also has access to Cheat Ball, the Cheat's 20XT6 incarnation. When thrown, Cheat Ball explodes into a cloud of poisonous gas that poisons the opponent, if that wasn't blatantly obvious. Oh, and if you didn't know, Cheat Ball is a parody of Pokemon. And Yu-Gi-Oh, apparently.
Cheat Ball!
So did I win? Does anyone know how this game works?
When the terrain is too dense with foliage, or when he just forgets about his super jumping ability. Damn it, PIS! He'll summon his personal aircraft, the Stinko-Wing. The Stinko-Wing is your standard futuristic personal aircraft. It comes equipped with laser cannons and a limited supply of shields. It can also switch between low and high speeds when needed. And now, there's one more power-up Stinkoman has access to. One that ups his power considerably. An item that really shouldn't be edible, but in the year 20XT6, it is.
What is this? Some sort of a challenge buried in the ground? Looky here, a Powercrunch!
Hey, that's the sound clip from the end of the How To Versus intro. Yeah, there's an actual item in the Homestar Runner universe called the Powercrunch, and it debuted over a decade before this channel was even a glint in Kaiju's eye. And in case you're wondering by this point, I already asked Kaiju if this series was named after the item, and he says it wasn't, and it's pure coincidence. I don't believe him. So what does the Powercrunch do besides greatly upping one's stats? We don't know! The thing ding is feetless as of right now. All we know for a fact is that it's a cassette tape that Stinkoman and company can eat and suddenly go Super Saiyan. Although, apparently Stinkoman can do that on his own.
Ooh, making small rocks float up off the ground!
And the only feat of that, besides making small rocks float up off the ground, is making a pilgrim hat materialize from thin air.
I'm thankful that my hat is wearing a belt!
Yeah, lovely build-up, is it not? Going over the most fittingly named item ever for this series, and it's frigging featless as of now. Alright, back to the actual feats. Give me something good, why don't you? At the beginning of level...
Negatory!
Stinkoman gets red button lightninged yet again. This time he gets sad inside a wall. For the record, this is intentionally poor English. It's a parody, people. Just go with it. As a result, Stinkoman does this. Yeah, he just friggin' vaporized the blocks in front of him. As anyone in Versus debating can tell you, it takes a lot more power to vaporize something than it does to simply blow it up. But now comes three questions. How big are the blocks? How many blocks did he vaporize? And what material are the blocks made of? Well, for the first question, I've already stated many times that judging things off of heights is kind of useless here, so you know what, I'm just gonna play it safe, hit it with a low ball, and assume each block is 1 cubic meter in size. The second part is easy. In the cutscene, he vaporizes at least 4 before walking off screen, indicating that he vaporized more than that. At the very start of the level, we can see 5 more vaporized, and considering that we have some time showing the shadowy figure in 1-up screaming, he likely had more time to move, meaning at least 9 total. As for the third part, I'll admit that's a bit more difficult. The blocks are very shiny and appear metallic, but also have some kind of moss, grass growing on top of it. So what am I gonna do? Simple. I'm gonna make a chart with 5 different types of material: concrete, granite, iron, specifically cast iron, steel, and titanium. And following that, I'm going to figure out the destructive power needed to vaporize one of the blocks, at least 4 of them, at least 5, and at least 9. And at the end, I'll determine what power level it is. Power level DBZ parody. Fits. Okay, let's do this. First off, concrete. The amount of energy it takes to vaporize concrete is 25,700 joules per cubic centimeter. This is easy, as 1 cubic meter, as estimated, is 1 million cubic centimeters. Now we just multiply the two to get 25.7 billion joules, which converts to 6.14 tons of TNT equivalent for 1 block, 24.56 tons for 4 blocks, 30.7 tons for 5, and 55.26 tons for 9. Anywhere from at least 4 to at least 9, we're looking at city block level power. Now let's move on to granite. The energy to vaporize granite is 27,050 joules per cubic centimeter. So using the same strategy as before, 27.05 billion joules to vaporize 1 block, which is 6.46 tons, 25.84 tons for 4, 32.3 for 5, and 58.14 for 9. Still in the city block levels. Now let's move on to the metals with iron, specifically cast iron. Cast iron's vaporization energy is 6,213,627 joules per kilogram, not cubic centimeter. And 1 cubic meter of cast iron is approximately 7,300 kilograms. Doing some more multiplication, the amount of joules it takes to vaporize 1 block is 45.36 billion joules, which is 10.84 tons, 43.36 for 4 blocks, 54.2 for 5, and 97.56 for 9. Still in the city block level, but the last one is getting really close to multi-city block level, so just city block level plus. Now on to steel. The energy to vaporize steel is 60,117.42 joules per cubic centimeter. Back to this one. 60.12 billion joules for 1 block, which is 14.37 tons, 57.48 tons for 4, 71.85 for 5, and 129.33 tons for 9. And with that, Stinkoman has crossed into multi-city block level. Awesome, but there's one more. Finally, titanium. The energy for vaporizing titanium is 8,878,768 joules per kilogram. A lot of 8s in that one. 1 cubic meter of titanium would weigh approximately 4,500 kilograms. Doing the multiplication yields 39.95 billion joules. Oh, geez, we went down. Unsurprising, I mean, it does take more joules than cast iron, but it is significantly lighter. And since titanium is judged via kilograms and not cubic centimeters, this is why it's on the lower side. Anyhow, 1 block is 9.55 tons, 4 is 38.2, 5 is 47.75, and 9 is 85.95. All still within the city block range, with the last one going close to city block level plus. Like I said, we went down. Dang. Again, these are all minimums and lowballs. It's entirely possible that the blocks are larger, and it's entirely possible that Stinkoman vaporized more than just 9 blocks. But this is all we have as solid evidence, if you can call it that. Still, just about every calculation yields city block level destructive power, with some going into city block plus, and 1 going into multi-city block level. So I think we could safely label his attack power as at least city block level. Now, that isn't to say that Stinkoman is without weaknesses. He certainly has a few. For one, he has the mindset of a stereotypical anime protagonist, meaning he's not very bright and lives for fighting food, and seeing virtually anything unfamiliar to him as, you guessed it, a challenge. Another weakness is his eye, apparently. The Homestar Runner, not to be confused with Homestar Runner, there's no "the" in the name, stunned Stinkoman and knocked him out of the air with a well-aimed spitball to the eye. PIS? I don't know. Homestar Runner has its fair share of Toon Force, so their power in the cartoons can best be described as whatever is funniest. Finally, there are also challenges that not even he is willing to face. For example, Tragador.
What is that? Ah! Tragador!
I mean, I don't blame him. He's got Goku's arm on the back of his neck. I would run from that too. In the end, while Stinkoman may not have a whole lot of feats, the ones he does have are pretty good for the most part. He's perhaps the most unexpected character of focus we here at Powercrunch have overanalyzed, and is very unlikely to appear in any Powercrunch Versus episodes. Maybe. And here are his stats. Joey, here comes the part where I have to put him up against 3 verses. I personally hate doing these, so let's just get these done as soon as possible. Okay, so another series with a futuristic setting. How about Overwatch? Yeah, that's super popular. Put it simply, Stinkoman would do pretty well in the Overwatch Gauntlet, with his speed and destructive power being above even the top tiers of the universe. The Overwatch cast, however, can make up with it with their wide variety of combat styles, weapons, and a couple of low-end hacks to choose from. So yeah, I can't say absolutely that Stinkoman solos as utterly hilarious as that would be. Gmod video in 5, I'm not doing that. How about the series he parodies most, Dragon Ball Z? Oh god, no! Abort mission! Okay, he gets creamed. He doesn't even get past the original one. Moving on. How about Street Fighter? Yeah, he would like a lot of challenges from that series.
Street Marshal 2, Street Marshal 2, slightly different costumes edition.
Wrapping this up quick, Stinkoman does not solo the series, but he does make it relatively far. He doesn't get owned by anyone not named Dan Hibiki, but he doesn't quite clear the gauntlet. With his quadruple-digit Mach speed and town-level possible feats, he gets through roughly 80 or so % of the series. But then again, Street Fighter does have a lot of hacks on its side that Stinkoman has no resistance to, so who knows? And we're finally done this video. Thank you all for watching. This was a pain in the butt to write, edit, and record for. I have so many video files with this, Jesus. Alright, so, I'm Electricstar, and I'll see you all most likely on my own series, How to Versus. Thank you all for watching.